Right, the question about Richard's journey to work. Calculate how much less time Richard took to complete the work on Tuesday than on Monday. So on Monday, he left home at 8:20 and he travelled at 40 miles an hour. And we also know that he takes 24 miles to go. So using the formula, time equals distance divided by speed. We don't know the time, that's what we're trying to find out. We do know that he travelled 24 miles, and we also know that he went at a speed of 40 miles per hour. So his time is 0.6 hours, which if I need that in minutes, I need to times by 60, which will give me 36 minutes. I've now got to find the relevant piece of information about his journey on Tuesday. So on Tuesday, he travels at 48 miles an hour. So his time, we're still trying to find. His distance hasn't changed, but his speed is now 48, and that comes to 0.5 hours, which again, when I times that by 60, will tell me it was a 30-minute journey. And then obviously the difference is 36, take away 30, which is 6 minutes. So he was 6 minutes quicker on the Tuesday than he was on the Monday. The next question asks to calculate the cost of fuel he uses to travel to and from work every week. So the first thing we need to do is how far does he travel? So in a week, he travels 24 miles to work 5 times. But don't forget, he's obviously as well travelling back. So we need 2 lots of that. So we find that he travels a total of 240 miles per week. That's the first thing we need to work out. If we then read some of the facts, on average, he can do 30 miles per gallon. So for every 30 miles, he uses 1 gallon of petrol. So we can find out how many gallons of petrol he uses. So 240 divided by 30 equals 8. So he uses 8 gallons of petrol. The next factor we're going to use is that 1 gallon is approximately 4.55 litres. So if we do 8 times by 4.55, which comes to 36.4. So he uses 36.4 litres of petrol. And then the next factor we're going to use is that for every litre it's 121.9 pence. So we then have 121.9 times by the 36.4 litres, which will tell us how much he pays. The 121.9 is already in pence, so we don't need to worry about that. 4,437.16. Now don't forget, this is pence, 0.16, so to the nearest penny it costs him 4,437 pence, which if you wrote as £44.37, that's absolutely fine as well, but it's recognising that this 0.16 is not in pence. Question 7. Each wheel on the vacuum cleaner has a radius of 2.8. How far is it going to go in 30 metres? So one wheel, if the radius is 2.8, what we need to find out is how far it travels when I start here. If I rotate that wheel, how far has it gone to get back to that point? To find that, we find the circumference of the wheel. So we get circumference is pi times diameter. So circumference equals pi times 5.6 in this case. So circumference comes out to 17.59. Now for accuracy, leave that on your calculator display before you work at the next step instead of cancelling it from there. 30 metres in centimetres is 3,000 centimetres because every one of these is worth 100. So then we are going to do 3,000 divided by 17.59 and the rest of the numbers. And then with the calculator, the display on there, we can just type 3,000 divided by the answer, which picks up that previous number, and we find that that is 170.5. So how many times each wheel will rotate? So it will do 170.5 rotations. So it will complete 170 rotations because it doesn't quite make the 171st. So we're not going to round up because it's saying how many complete times does it go round. Well, it's going to do a full 170, and then the 0.5 we're going to ignore. Right, question number 8, I'm just going to write 5 as the answer because that was on the previous video because it was the same question. Question number 9, fuel increases by 20% each year. The cost on January 15 was £1.49. If it keeps going, how much would you expect it to be at January 2020? So the formula, new amount equals the original amount times by the multiplier raised to a power of years. The new amount is what we're trying to find. The original amount is what it was at the beginning, so £1.49. The multiplier, it's going up by 20%, so we have our full 100%, and we're adding 20, so we've got 120%, and don't forget the multiplier has to be a decimal, so 1.2, and the power of years from 2015 to 2020, that is a 5-year period, and again, we can just plug that straight into the calculator then, and we get that it's £3.71 to the nearest penny. The calculator shows 3.707, but obviously money is 2 decimal places, so it would round up to £3.71. Be careful with this question. It is only the multiplier that is raised to that power, not the entire calculation. Question number 10. So we've got a set of graphs and a few statements. The increase in the number of top grades has been constant. So the increase in the number of top grades has been constant. So over time, we're looking at something that has constantly increased. So over time, as time goes on, this is a constant increase. The only graph that represents a constant increase is this one. This one shows that over time things have increased, but it is not constant because it isn't a straight line. So that is grade B. New opening hours have made little difference to the number of visitors. So we're looking for something that over time hasn't really changed. So the only one of these graphs that over time doesn't really show any change is D, so it is graph D. Rate of decrease is slowing down. So over time, we are looking at a slower decrease. Now, the only two that show a decrease over time is F and G. Now, it says nothing in here about constant, so that means it can't be a straight line. So F is the graph we want.